They tested you on purpose, not because you are weak, not because you are small, but because your silence looks like permission and your calm looks like surrender to people who only understand noise. Disrespect is rarely about what you did. It is a probe, a scan, a quiet experiment to see if you have boundaries or only moods, and if you respond the way they expect, emotionally, impulsively, desperate to be understood, you hand them the steering wheel of your mind. Listen carefully. The Stoic does not win by arguing. The Stoic wins by refusing to be controlled. When someone disrespects you, they are offering you a contract. React so I can lead. Most people sign it without reading. They raise their voice. They explain themselves. They chase approval. They try to prove worth to someone who never intended to be fair. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to be unplayable. In this video, you will learn 8 Stoic rules to handle disrespect with precision and power, so you stop getting played, stop getting baited, and stop bleeding your energy into people who have not earned access to you. These rules are not motivational quotes. They are mental weapons, and when you practice them, you do not just protect your pride, you protect your peace, your focus, and your destiny. Before we begin, lock in with me right now. If you've ever been disrespected and stayed quiet, but felt the fire inside, comment UNPLAYABLE so you commit to this mindset publicly. And if you want more Stoic strategies that sharpen your self-control and make you untouchable, like this video and subscribe to Inside Stoic Thought, because the next rule could save you from the next person who tries to test you. Rule number 1. Control your reaction before you control the situation. The first rule of handling disrespect is brutal in its simplicity, and that is why most people fail it. The moment disrespect appears, your mind wants to react. It wants to defend, explain, attack, or prove. That impulse is not strength, it is exposure. Epictetus warned that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Disrespect is an external event. Your reaction is an internal choice. The second you react emotionally, you give the other person power over your inner state. They may insult you for 10 seconds, but your reaction can poison your entire day, your focus, and your self-respect, if you let it. The Stoic understands this. Whoever controls your emotions controls you. That is why the first battlefield is always inside. Before you say a word, before your face tightens, before your tone shifts, you pause. That pause is dominance. Silence in that moment is not weakness, it is restraint, and restraint is power. When someone disrespects you, they are often seeking a reaction more than a resolution. They want confirmation that they matter enough to disturb your inner balance. By staying composed, you deny them that reward. Calm becomes a mirror that reflects their insecurity back at them, without you saying a single thing. This does not mean you tolerate mistreatment. It means you choose the timing and the manner of your response, instead of letting your impulses decide for you. A delayed response is almost always a stronger response. The Stoic waits until emotion settles and reason rises. Only then does action become clean, measured, and effective. Practice this rule deliberately. The next time you feel disrespected, feel the heat in your chest without acting on it. Name it silently: anger, ego, pride. Then breathe and let it pass. You will notice something powerful. The urge fades, but your authority remains intact. Most people lose respect, not because they were disrespected, but because they reacted poorly to it. They shouted, over-explained, or sought validation. You will not make that mistake again. By mastering your reaction, you stop being predictable. And when you stop being predictable, you stop being playable. This rule alone will separate you from the crowd, not because you suppress yourself, but because you command yourself. And a person who commands themselves does not need to beg the world for respect. Rule number 2. Do not explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. When someone disrespects you, one of the most dangerous instincts is the urge to explain, to clarify, to convince them you are not who they implied you are, to defend your intentions, to prove your character. This is where many strong people get played, because they mistake explanation for strength. A Stoic knows the difference between communication and chasing validation. If a person is committed to misunderstanding you, your explanations do not free you, they trap you. They keep you in their frame, playing on their field, answering to their version of reality. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of acting with integrity and letting that be enough. The point is not to win every narrative. The point is to stay aligned with truth and self-command. When you rush to explain yourself after disrespect, you quietly accept their authority to judge you. You signal that their opinion has weight over your inner stability. Disrespectful people often use accusations as hooks. They throw something sharp, not to be accurate, but to pull you into a defensive posture. If you bite, they control the tempo. They keep moving the goalposts. You explain one thing, they twist another. You defend one point, they create a new one. And before you realize it, you are working for their approval. This rule is not telling you to be silent forever. It is telling you to be selective. If the relationship is healthy and the misunderstanding is genuine, communicate with clarity. But if the disrespect is strategic, if they are mocking, baiting, or speaking in bad faith, then the Stoic response is to refuse the courtroom. A calm line delivered once is enough. I'm not discussing this in that tone. That's not accurate. I hear you. And then you stop. You do not overtalk. You do not overprove. You do not overshare. Your life is not a trial, and you are not obligated to perform innocence for people who enjoy seeing you squirm. Here is your exercise. The next time you feel the pull to explain yourself, ask a single question inside your mind. Is this person seeking truth or seeking control? If it is control, your silence is not avoidance, it is strategy. It is self-respect in action. The Stoic is not desperate to be understood by everyone. The Stoic is committed to understanding themselves and behaving accordingly. When you stop explaining yourself to disrespectful people, you stop feeding the very game they want you to play. Rule number 3. Respond with boundaries, not emotions. Disrespect becomes a cycle when you treat it like an emotional event instead of a behavioral issue. The Stoic does not argue about feelings. The Stoic sets terms, because the real question is not, how do I make them respect me? The question is, what access do they lose when they don't? Most people try to fight disrespect with intensity. They raise their voice, deliver a speech, demand an apology, or try to shame the other person into decency. But emotion is unstable. It rises and falls. Boundaries are stable. They do not beg. They do not persuade. They simply define what is acceptable and what happens next if it continues. A boundary is not a threat. It is a decision. And once it is stated, the Stoic follows through without drama. Here is what this looks like in real life. Someone speaks to you with sarcasm and contempt. You do not match their tone. You do not insult back. You say calmly, and once, I'm willing to talk when this is respectful. Then you pause. If they continue, you end the conversation. You leave the room. You stop replying. You remove access. Not out of revenge, but out of self-command. This is where your inner authority is forged. Because disrespectful people expect you to either explode or tolerate. They do not expect you to stay calm and withdraw access. That response confuses manipulators because it removes the reward. No reaction to feed on, no argument to control, no chaos to enjoy. Practice the boundary sentence before you need it. Keep it simple. No long explanations, no emotional speeches. Your power is in your consistency. Rule number 4. Let their opinion pass through you, not into you. Disrespect stings most when it enters your identity. When you take someone's rude tone, their mockery, their dismissal, and you translate it into a statement about your worth. That is the trap. Because once their opinion becomes your inner voice, they do not need to keep attacking you. You will attack yourself for them. The Stoic refuses this invasion. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that other people's actions belong to them, not to you. Their words are an expression of their character, their discipline, their insecurity, their habits. You do not have to absorb what they emit. You can observe it and let it pass. Here is the difference. If someone calls you incompetent, you have two choices. You can let it become a verdict, or you can treat it like data, not "I am incompetent, but they said a thing." That small shift separates the warrior from the wounded. The wounded person internalizes, the Stoic analyzes. Ask yourself, is this criticism true? If it is true, good. You have been given a lesson. Correct the error without humiliation. Improvement is not an emotional collapse. It is a disciplined response. If it is not true, even better. You have just discovered what kind of person you are dealing with, and you have lost nothing. This rule is especially important with disrespect that comes from jealousy or control. Some people disrespect you because your calm threatens their chaos. Your progress threatens their stagnation. Your boundaries expose their entitlement, so they throw words like stones, hoping you will bleed and slow down. Do not bleed. The Stoic practice here is mental distance. Imagine their disrespect as smoke in the air. You can see it, you can smell it, but you do not inhale it. You keep your lungs clean. You keep your inner space protected, because your inner space is the source of your focus, your discipline, and your future. Here is your exercise. The next time someone disrespects you, do not argue with the words. Identify the motive. Is it pain? Is it insecurity? Is it a need for dominance? Then say to yourself, silently, this is theirs. You are not denying reality. You are assigning ownership correctly. When you master this, something changes. Disrespect stops feeling like a personal attack and starts feeling like background noise. And when it becomes background noise, it loses its power to steer your decisions. A person who cannot be internally invaded cannot be played. Rule number 5. Do not seek closure from people who benefit from your confusion. One of the most subtle ways disrespect keeps you trapped is the craving for closure. You want them to admit what they did. You want them to explain why they spoke that way. You want a clean ending, a satisfying apology, a final conversation that restores order inside your mind. But a Stoic understands a hard truth. Some people will never give you closure because your confusion gives them leverage. Disrespectful behavior is often followed by denial, shifting blame, or vague half-answers designed to keep you emotionally engaged. They disrespect you, then act like you are too sensitive. They provoke you, then call you dramatic. They cross a line, then pretend the line never existed. And if you keep pursuing clarity from someone committed to distortion, you will be walking in circles for months. Closure is not something you receive, it is something you decide. Epictetus taught that your peace depends on what you place under your control. Their honesty is not under your control. Their accountability is not under your control. Their ability to reflect is not under your control. Their ability to reflect is not under your control. But your decision to stop seeking their validation is under your control. Your decision to end the mental conversation is under your control. This is where many disciplined people still get played. They do not chase the person physically, but they chase them mentally, replaying the moment, rewriting the dialogue, imagining what they should have said, planning the perfect response. That is still bondage, just invisible. The Stoic response is clean. You gather the lesson and you exit. If someone disrespects you and then refuses to acknowledge it, you do not keep negotiating reality. You simply update your standards. You reduce access. You stop offering your time, your attention, and your emotional labor to someone who treats it cheaply. Here is your exercise. Write this sentence in your mind and repeat it when you feel the urge to chase closure. I do not need their understanding to protect my peace. Then ask one practical question. What boundary do I enforce now? Not what speech do I deliver, not what explanation do I send, what action do I take. You will notice the power in this approach immediately. When you stop seeking closure from disrespectful people, you stop giving them the role of judge over your emotional state. You remove their influence without needing their permission. And when you can walk away without a final word, you become dangerous in the best way, untouchable, unbothered, and impossible to manipulate. Rule number 6. Make your life too disciplined to be disturbed. The ultimate protection against disrespect is not the perfect comeback. It is not winning an argument. It is building an inner structure so strong that other people's moods cannot shake it. Disrespect hits hardest when your self-worth is idle, when your days are unstructured, when your purpose is unclear, when your mind has too much empty space. The words of others echo louder. But when your life is disciplined, the noise has nowhere to land. You are busy becoming someone, and that makes you difficult to destabilize. The Stoics understood this as inner fortification. Marcus Aurelius did not train his mind so he could impress people. He trained it so he could govern himself in the middle of pressure, insult, and chaos. That is the aim here, not to be liked, to be unmovable. Disrespect is often a distraction weapon. People throw it when they feel powerless, when they want attention, or when they want to pull you down into their emotional weather. If you have no anchored routine, you will step into their storm. But if you have standards, habits, and goals that you protect daily, you will look at their storm and keep walking. This rule is practical. It means you do not start your day with other people's opinions. You start your day with your mission. You train your body because a disciplined body strengthens a disciplined mind. You keep your promises to yourself because self-respect is built through integrity, not compliments. You audit your environment and reduce exposure to people who drain you. You sleep, you read, you work, you build, and when disrespect arrives, it meets a man or woman who is already governed. Here is your exercise. Choose one daily discipline that becomes non-negotiable for the next 7 days. It can be morning training, 20 minutes of focused learning, journaling your reactions, or a strict boundary around social media and drama. Do it no matter how you feel. This will teach your nervous system a powerful message. My life is led by principles, not provocations. When you live like this, disrespect becomes a small event instead of a life-altering wound. Because you are not seeking emotional stability from the world, you are producing it from within. That is the Stoic advantage. You become too disciplined to be disturbed and too focused to be played. Rule number 7. Remove access fast. Disrespect is a fleeter, not a debate. One of the biggest reasons people keep getting disrespected is because they treat disrespect like a misunderstanding that needs to be solved. They think, if I explain better, they'll change, or if I stay patient, they'll learn. But the Stoic approach is colder and far more effective. Disrespect is information. It reveals character, intent, and entitlement, and once you see it clearly, you do not argue with it. You respond to it by changing access. The Stoics were not naive about human behavior. They understood that people repeat what they are allowed to repeat. If someone disrespects you and nothing changes, you have trained them to continue, not with your words but with your tolerance. This rule is simple. The faster you remove access, the faster the pattern dies. Removing access does not always mean a dramatic breakup or public confrontation. It can be quiet and surgical. You stop entertaining their jokes at your expense. You stop replying quickly. You stop giving long explanations. You stop sharing personal information that they can weaponize. You stop meeting them halfway when they keep crossing the line. You shorten conversations. You keep interactions strictly functional, and if necessary, you step away entirely. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. A disrespectful person will often test your boundary with a second offense. They want to see if you were serious. Most people fail here. They give another chance too quickly because they fear seeming harsh. But the Stoic does not fear being misunderstood by someone who refuses respect. The Stoic fears one thing: losing self-respect through repeated tolerance. Here is the key distinction. Forgiveness can exist without access. You can release anger while still restricting proximity. You can let go internally without letting them back into your space. That is emotional mastery, not bitterness. Your exercise: identify one relationship or environment where disrespect has become normal. Then choose one access change you will implement immediately. It could be ending a certain type of conversation, refusing a certain tone, limiting time spent, or stepping away when boundaries are crossed. Keep it clean. No speeches, no threats, just action. When you do this, you stop negotiating your worth. You make your presence a privilege, not a guarantee. Disrespect is a filter. It shows you who deserves closeness and who deserves distance. Apply the filter fast, and you will never be played the same way again. Rule number 8. Let adults speak. Silence, distance, and consistency are your revenge. The final Stoic rule is the one that separates temporary confidence from permanent authority. When you are disrespected, your ego wants a decisive win, a sharp reply, a public correction, a moment where everyone sees you were right and they were wrong. But the Stoic does not chase moments. The Stoic builds outcomes. Disrespect is often an attempt to lower your status in the room and pull you into a reactive role. If you fight for status verbally, you are still playing their game. The highest response is to refuse the game entirely and rise through consistent action. This is where silence becomes strategic. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of self-command. You do not need to announce your value. You demonstrate it. You do not need to defend your name to people who profit from misunderstanding you. You let time expose their instability while your stability compounds. Distance is part of this rule as well. When disrespect happens, many people stay emotionally present even if they walk away physically. They keep checking, stalking, hoping, rehearsing, waiting for the person to realize. That is still attachment, and attachment is how you get played. The Stoic detaches without hatred. They release the need to be acknowledged. They stop feeding the connection. They stop returning to the scene. Consistency is the final blade. A single calm response is good, but a consistent pattern is unstoppable. When you consistently refuse disrespect, consistently enforce boundaries, consistently prioritize your discipline and purpose, your identity shifts. You become known as someone who cannot be baited, someone who will not beg, someone who will not explain themselves into exhaustion. That reputation forms without you trying to form it. Here is the practical application. If you must address disrespect, do it once, clearly, and without emotion. Then let your actions confirm your words. Reduce access. Keep your standards. Continue building your life. Let your growth become the loudest message in the conversation. This rule is not about revenge in the petty sense. It is about justice in the Stoic sense, giving each person the consequences of their behavior while keeping your soul clean. You do not harm them. You simply stop investing in them. You let them live with their choices while you live with your principles. Your exercise: commit to a 30-day standard. No reacting to provocation. No chasing closure, no explaining yourself to disrespect. Only calm boundaries, clean distance, and disciplined focus. If you do this, you will feel something rare: freedom, because the greatest victory over disrespect is not proving them wrong. It is becoming so internally solid that they never had access to your peace in the first place. You have now seen the full Stoic framework, 8 rules, not to make you louder, but to make you sovereign. Disrespect no longer needs to shake you, confuse you, or pull you into battles that drain your spirit. From this moment forward, you know how to pause instead of react, how to set boundaries instead of arguments, how to detach without bitterness, and how to build a life so disciplined that disrespect has nowhere to land. Remember this clearly: the goal was never to dominate others. The goal was to master yourself, because the person who controls their reactions, their access, and their standards cannot be manipulated, cannot be baited, and cannot be played. Now the work is yours. If this message resonated with you, do not let it stay abstract. Anchor it with action. Comment UNPLAYABLE below as a public declaration that you are done negotiating your worth and done giving emotional access to disrespect. If you want more Stoic teachings designed for silent fighters, deep thinkers, and high performers, like this video and subscribe to Inside Stoic Thought. These teachings are not entertainment. They are training for the mind and armor for the soul. May you move forward with clarity, restraint, and inner authority. May your silence be intentional, your discipline unbreakable, and your peace protected.